It's locked, all right. It's locked, all right.
Not now.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
It's locked. It's locked. It's locked, all right. I cannot enter.
balls of Mars. Fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful. Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. This key will surely grant me access to the basement. It's locked. These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
It's locked, all right. Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. It's locked. scowls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
It's locked, all right.
That's Pembroke nowadays.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just the...
How is the...
Well, not well.
Why is Milton...
Milton's not the...
Why does
I don't know.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
See you again.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Doctor.
How close are you to Miss Hawcroft?
To wait for her next nib.
Aren't you afraid?
She's quite harmless.
You do realize...
In her madness.
So do you let her...
And why not?
She could decide...
And it's another good reason.
Goodbye for now.
I wonder why the gospels came here in the first place.
The pain. It's there
Hello again, Dr. Reid.
How do you feel?
I feel exhausted.
You're in good hands.
Thank you, sir.
What do you do for...
I manage an...
Are you a...
Not at all, Doc.
How do you feel?
I feel it.
You're in good...
Thank you.
Have you made...
Not really.
You never came...
You're preaching to the convert.
Goodbye, Mr.
The pain. It's there again.
I cannot enter. Good evening, miss.
I need blood, Doctor.
Who are you really, Miss...
Is that not enough for you?
I'm curious.
No, it's such a long...
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr...
No. No, Thomas is a...
Do you plan to make him...
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else?
Who are you really?
Is that not enough?
I'm curious.
No, it's...
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your...
I'll leave you. Good evening, Miss.
Evening,
Goodbye for now. Good
Evening.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening.
Soldier, do you...
I'm fine. Just do something.
Goodbye for now.
Hello again.
What do you do for...
I manage a nidus.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
You are going to reveal all your secrets to me. Even the darkest thoughts in your...
Good evening, Miss...
I need blood, dog.
I'll leave you, Miss... Good evening.
Good evening, Doc.
Do you need medical help?
I'm fine.
Goodbye now.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reid.
If you have a...
Dr. Swansea...
I know we...
Oh,
There is no need,
that is one point.
since your...
Let's just say...
carelessness.
We're here to save lives.
I don't intend...
Modern medical methods were created through...
I don't know what you've heard about me, but
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reid.
And what exactly?
I served in the war, just like you.
Be careful what you insinuate.
I only want you to admit you used those men.
This is ridiculous.
You see? That is exactly...
It seems you have bad memories.
I refuse to see this industrial...
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. Do you need my assistance?
Not at all.
Thank you for your...
Yes, Doctor?
Why then do you always...
At the Pembroke,
Your dedication to the...
we staff get our sleep when we can.
lack of sleep and the medical profession.
London's trenches start...
Please, could you point me in the direction...
It's the large boarded-up building.
Why then do you...
At the Pembroke.
Exactly.
It really depends.
That's all for now.
You always do
Yes,
the words
Doctor.
to calm the children, Ellen.
That's all.
As for me...
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Is there anything else?
I'm all right. Consider...
Tell me about...
Strickland and Aykroyd.
What do you mean? Tell me about...
Are you
in other...
All I wanted was to go back to work. To take care of my children.
Good evening, Doctor.
And good evening to you.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Good evening, Doctor. How...
What do you think?
I have had...
Is there something...
Some of the...
What can you...
Not much to say.
Are you real?
Yes. Thank...
May I ask if...
I'm a teacher.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr.
I'm okay.
Tell me about yourself.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized?
My mother just wants the best for me.
Is your mother bothering you?
That's tempting, Doctor.
Pembroke Hospital may...
It's not me you have to...
How painful.
So painful, I'd rather...
I have to go.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite...
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the pen...
Dr. Tippett does not think...
If you're suggesting...
I'm not familiar.
Brilliant perfection.
Most of...
It would be...
Is there any...
Well...
Why should his...
I guess it's...
How are things?
Not good. Sorry, Doc.
An invisible enemy?
Sorry, Doctor.
Do you think that...
We are all...
I'm not...
Brilliant.
Most...
It would be...
Nurse Brannigan, if you do...
No. I'm...
Is there...
Well...
Why should his...
I guess it...
Goodbye, nurse. Good evening, Dr. Tip.
Dr. Reid, any...
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about...
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls.
Nurse Brannigan is worried.
She should not have told you that.
You don't have to blame her for her.
I'm not that kind of man, Mike.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
I have some good news.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet. With all the money.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please. Take this money anyway, to remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reid.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen.
I know, it's a
I've seen babies left to die while they're
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you...
I've been in it.
Since you're on the front...
It's a complete disaster.
It sounds...
Yesterday,
You left...
Go there yourself.
So what do you...
I've been in it.
Are you really...
And why not?
But you're not...
You keep people...
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all. Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized...
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's just a...
During the war, I witnessed a few couples, just like you, come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right.
You do realize you...
Come on, Dr. Reid. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also...
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see this city is crumbling down? Today people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow we may be fighting for food.
Do you know that Nurse Hawkins is thinking of leaving the hospital?
That's not a surprise. We've talked about it already.
Does it not bother you?
Sometimes I think she may be right.
I'd like to see...
Wise choice, Dr. Reid. A reliable...
Handle this.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reid. Can I be of any help?
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Good evening, sir.
This hospital seems to...
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
How dare you steal from the dead, Rakesh?
These people are dead, sir. What they possess...
You should show respect for the dead.
The bodies I watch over are the unwanted and undesired, sir.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles...
Do you think you would enjoy immortality?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir,
It's quite depressing, wouldn't you?
Yes, but the good news is...
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will...
You're a wise man.
No, Dr. Reid. I am a foolish man.
Since you're not...
No.
Do you think...
I don't...
A pawnbroker?
Yes, sir.
Do you work here?
Yes.
Have we met?
I don't think...
When we first...
Funny story.
Goodbye, Mr.
Good evening.
Please show me one.
Of course. Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Do you need medical...
I'm feeling all...
Do you need medical...
I'm feeling all right, Doctor.
Goodbye, Miss... Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doc.
Pippa, are you sure you want...
To become a nurse was a little...
You should be...
Maybe you're right.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel...
I don't know yet.
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he...
For Milton, any change means more comfort.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been...
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead.
How can you be affected by the misery around you, and be so heartless at the...
I could ask you the same question, Dr. Reid. Are you more real when you lie to a dying patient, or when you grant him useless med...
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Why do you do it?
Why not?
How can you...
I could ask...
What?
Why not?
How can you...
I could ask you...
Milton...
Yes, I am.
Is this...
No.
Pippa, I know you're very...
Yes. Milton Hooks is my man.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins, but...
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke...
Is he worth...
Hey, I'm no...
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
So many deaths.
Good evening.
I need blood.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood?
I'm not...
Would you...
No.
I'll leave you.
Time has lost its effect on me.
The giant
But the
morgue
suffering
disguised
continues.
as a hospital. Lots of Pembroke.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Doc.
Goodbye, Nurse. Good evening, Mr.
Evening.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to...
Beauty is not everything, Mr. Elwood.
Says Mr. Pretty Face.
Why lie?
Come on.
Beauty.
Says Mr.
Tell me what really...
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was.
Did you start the fire?
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flame...
How is your state?
Oh, it's bliss.
Can I ask...
It's the pains.
Who is treating you?
Nobody since...
You don't seem worried.
My face hurt.
Soldier.
I'm fine.
Goodbye for now.
Damn. The pain. It's here again. Hello again, Doc.
Do you know...
Tom.
Who should
not read?
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Every street corner. The daily routine.
Good evening.
I need blood, Doc.
Tell me,
I'll leave you, Mistress.
Fear and disgust on every street corner.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm. Rich, vibrant blood.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
What your last thoughts would be, sir?
Oh, God!
Good evening, Dr. Strick.
And good evening to you.
What do you think of...
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded.
With the influenza and all that's going on?
I believe that if Dr.
So you believe it's just...
Dr. Ackroyd is...
Goodbye.
I'm quite bit...
Thank you for your... It's locked, all right.
Yes, Doctor?
Exactly how bad...
It really depends.
That's all for now, Nurse Crane. Thank you.
Be sure we're making a difference.
Good evening, Doctor.
Tell me more about your arrival.
The ambulance driver was...
What do you mean?
She charged you for...
Yes, and I paid without question.
I share your concern, Mrs.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reid.
What can you tell me?
Not much to...
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized?
My mother just wants the best.
Tell me about yourself.
I don't want to talk.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
I will see you later. I have to go.
Don't waste your time with me.
I cannot enter.
Not now.
The flower's dying. It needs water. It's locked.
Finally, you've returned.
Yes, nurse. Duty calls. When the storm has...
Many thanks, Doctor.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye, Miss... Good evening, Mr. Goswell.
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
I have to go now, sir.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Miss...
Evening.
How close are you to
wait for her?
Aren't you afraid?
She's quiet.
How
to wait for...
Aren't you afraid?
She's quiet.
You do...
In her mad... So this is how it ends. Farewell, my life, you've betrayed me, good.
I cannot enter.
Soon enough we'll be able to
giant morgue disguised as a hospital. That's Pembroke nowadays.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
I need blood, Doctor.
I'll leave you.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long...
Thank you. But I'd rather you didn't speak so
Very well. I have a task.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors.
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have just...
Then ask away.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood.
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
Where do we stand today?
Oh, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking.
How do Skalds come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity.
A Skald is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls.
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
We'll see each other again.
Do you need?
I have just...
Then ask away.
We'll see each other. It's locked.
Good evening, Dr. Reid. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Have you heard of someone blackmailing people in the hospital?
Pardon me, sir, but I...
Tell me the truth about your appointment as a medic during the war, Rakesh.
The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education. People could die at your hands.
You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment.
Do you realize how many soldiers died?
Yes, sir. I swear I did, sir.
It is an unbelievable...
It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reid. But I'm happy not to deal...
Do you work here alone?
Yeah?
Why close the hospital?
It was for sanitary...
Why do you have to watch?
Because the...
Goodbye, Mr. Chidam.
But in circumstances, I'm willing to give.
Dr. Reid, may I have...
What can you tell?
This hospital...
Can you be more...
Well...
What can you...
Every day...
News on the front.
It seemed...
Well, Dr. Swan...
Not
What about...
Dr. Reid.
How is the...
Everybody work...
For how long?
I first of all...
And before...
If you must...
I'll see you later. Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
Have you seen any suspicious activity in the vicinity, Dr. Reid?
No more than usual.
This is no laughing matter, Dr. Reid. A patient of mine has been murdered. Mr. Fiddick is dead. I should have been more cautious.
Have you heard any talk of black...
If you're running some official inquiry, you had better question the...
What is troubling you so much?
I had to meet face to face with the son and daughter of this difficult... I know.
Why are you blaming yourself for...
It is our fault. Mr. Fiddick has stayed longer than needed here.
This argument has nothing to do with his...
But if we had performed the surgery sooner...
Goodbye, Doctor.
Good evening, Doctor.
Have you heard rumors of blood...
Dr. Reid, are you trying...
Of course...
Well, go be curious.
Goodbye.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
Have you heard rumors?
No.
I have to go now. Good evening.
I'm okay.
Tell me about it.
I don't want to...
I have to go now.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, Dr. Ackroyd.
You're the last person that I want to see right now, Dr. Reid.
I see that you are as friendly as ever.
Are you really going to ask me why? That would just be more evidence of your selfishness.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on in this hospital?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
How do you think these recent events will affect the Pembroke Hospital?
I am not blind. There is something strange about you and Dr. Swansea. One day you'll have to provide answers.
Don't you think the epidemic is enough to deal with?
Yes, the epidemic.
You are troubled by the death.
Harvey Fiddick died inside these walls, under our watch.
Since you're
Let's just...
carelessness,
We're here...
I don't...
Modern...
Thank you for your...
And what of...
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Doc.
Goodbye. Good evening, Miss Howe.
I need blood, Doc.
Have you heard of any blackmailing going on?
I have no time for mortal games.
I'll leave you.
I wish I could be sick again. Feel my blood boil with the fever.
I cannot enter.
Hello again, Dr. Reid.
Goodbye, Miss.
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
Believe me, it gives me courage.
Good evening, Nurse.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why does
If it was...
Dr. Tip... Goodbye, Nurse.
We have no effective treatment.
Good evening, Dr. Tip.
Dr. Reid.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
I have no time for such triviality, my dear colleague. We're here to save lives.
You're exhausting yourself.
No.
Nurse Brannigan, you don't have to blame her.
I'm not...
Goodbye, Doctor.
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that cabinet.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to...
Have you heard of any
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from...
What kind of secret?
I'm not in the gossip business, Doctor.
Do you know that Nurse Hawkins is...
That's not a surprise.
Does it not bother you?
Sometimes I think she may be right.
What's going on?
Pippa's tongue.
Goodbye, Milton.
It's safer here than anywhere else in the East.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reid. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea...
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
So it seems our Dr. Swansea does indeed have a fascination for creatures of our constitution.
Dr. Swansea is a remarkable man. Dedicated, one might say, obstinate? He spent years compiling our bestiary.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients...
These poor souls have so...
The world would be a better place if it were cared for.
You make me blush.
Pardon my boldness, your ladyship, but I have...
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by...
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but...
Have any of the...
These poor...
The world would be...
You make me blush.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten?
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient, or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal...
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes of...
What are your expectations?
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are...
Please continue. Every detail.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, your ladyship.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital.
I'll take care of it.
If that was the case, I'd set...
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands. Is our little miss...
I think of nothing...
My situation...
Another night with the glorious battalion of Pembroke.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye, Milton. Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reid.
Goodbye, Doctor.
So many deaths.
Do you need something?
I have met Lady...
She's a fascinating woman.
Is she the true reason you...
Lady Ashbury is a cherished friend of mine. I would not betray her.
I have just a few...
Then ask away.
I have met...
She's a fascinating...
Is she...
Lady Ash...
We'll see each other... It's locked, all right. It's locked.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doc.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings within the hospital?
I don't have time for such nonsense, Doc.
Are you certain?
If you have something in mind, just speak up, Doctor. Otherwise, stop breathing down my neck.
Blackmail is a serious matter, Nurse Hawkins.
Everything is serious.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Nurse.
Good evening,
Goodbye.
Dr. Reid.
Have you heard rumors?
I don't have time to listen.
Do you know if any of the hospitals...
Doctor, you've hardly...
I'll see you later.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you...
Good evening, sir.
Goodbye. Good evening.
I'm okay.
Tell me about yours.
I don't want to talk.
I have to go.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening.
Why are you blaming yourself?
It is our fault.
This argument, if we... Goodbye. Good evening, Doctor.
If you say...
Have you heard of...
Blackmail?
If you...
Dr.
I know. There is no...
That is...
Thank you for your... Good evening, Nurse.
Good evening, Doc.
Goodbye, Nurse. It's locked.
What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for a lot.
Preposterous.
Dr. Swansea is quite busy.
How brave.
Harriet Jones. Indeed.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
things.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone...
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little...
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans...
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've... Miss Jones. Now...
Well...
If you could just tell me why...
It's terrible, Doctor.
I see.
No one comes to visit, you know.
Have you noticed?
It would be a great...
Everyone here...
Thieves and murderers...
Come now.
Have you no...
I'll come and... The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
Hello again,
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk... Good evening.
Good evening, Doc.
Do you know if any of the hospitals...
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Goodbye, nurse. Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reid.
You're exhausted.
No.
Nurse Brannigan, you don't have to... Have you heard?
I have...
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Do you need my medical attention?
I would have been confused if...
There is no shame in helping each other. We're colleagues, after all.
Many doctors I have known are too cynical to think that way.
What is troubling you so?
I had to meet face to face with the son of
this difficult...
I know.
Have you heard?
If you're running some...
Goodbye, Dr.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor.
If you say...
Thank you for your time. Good evening.
If you say...
Do you need my assistance?
Don't be ridiculous.
I will see. Thank you. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
What can you tell me about...
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay...
No matter how you...
Who says I don't care for her? Hate?
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Someone's poached my blanket. Oh, cold as death.
It's safer here than anywhere else in the East End.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Goodbye, Miss. Good evening.
I'm okay.
I have to go.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening.
Goodbye, Miss.
I cannot enter. It's locked, all right.
Do you need...
The matter of Lady Ashbury...
Oh, I know too much about this matter already. I'm confident in trusting the interests...
I have just...
Then ask away.
We'll see it...
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals. Or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
He's locked the door behind him. I need to find another way to follow him. This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor. I have this thirst for blood. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here! I need to get out!
I'm Dr. Reid, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay. I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out!
All right, Mr. Thatcher, you're safe now. Do you think you can reach the street by yourself?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel... Are you sure you're...
Yes.
This is despicable. What sort of creature is this?
What sort of creature is this? Here's what's left of him. Not a lot to check, but I should anyway. Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her. I can't believe I'm doing this. This is despicable.
Turn around, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Tipp.
Dr. Reid.
Goodbye, Doc. I cannot enter. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you need medical...
I'm afraid I've contracted some ill...
Not under my watch, nurse. Take this. You'll feel better.
Thank you.
Goodbye, nurse.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Do you need my medical...
You don't have to worry about me.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, Doc.
Do you require medical...
Do you know you're the only one who's asked?
Despite what you think about this place.
Well, at least your reputation.
Goodbye, Miss. Good evening, Mr. God.
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
Thank you, Doctor.
I have to go.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, Doctor.
If you say...
Do you need my assistance?
Don't be ridiculous.
Then you are lucky that I have taken the time to do so. Consider it a gesture.
I wish this hospital could...
Thank you for your...
Good evening, Doc.
Do you need medical...
Well, the proximity of the dead is not the...
Don't take too many risks with your health, Mr. Chidana. None of us are immune.
And that is a good thing.
Goodbye, Mr.
Never ceases to amaze me how you, the dead, seem peaceful and lost at the same time. Fail and survive this epidemic.
Someone's poached my blanket. Oh, the cold will be my death.
Another night with the glorious battalion.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doc.
Do you require...
I will be
Nurse.
I'll try.
Goodbye. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doc.
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm afraid I do. Like everyone in this hospital. It's a sad state of affairs when even the hospital workers are worried about disease.
I'll see you.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Milton.
Doctor...
Do you need any medical...
Yes,
I will see you later. Goodbye, Doctor.
That was fast.
I'm afraid the trail of breadcrumbs...
Is that so? Why?
Now it's time...
Machination.
I hadn't considered that.
Do be careful, my good doctor. When
I'll return with case solved.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
Good evening, Doctor. How...
Your son wished to die, Beatrice. Why did you hide such crucial information?
Are you not aware suicide is a crime?
I understand you fear the legal consequences, Mrs. Goswick.
All my son needs is help and comprehension.
Do you require medical...
I have other concern.
Goodbye, Mrs. Good evening, Mr.
I'm okay.
Admit it, Mortimer. Your mother had you hospitalized here because you...
Yes, it's true.
All right, then. This is the first time we've really shared information about your case. Shall we call this progress?
Call it what you want.
You can trust me. I won't report you to the authorities.
I guess I should thank you, then.
Can I help you in any way, Mr. Goswick?
I wrote a letter for my mother. She was supposed to read it after my death. But...
I see. And is this letter still near the place where you tried to take your own life?
Yes. And I don't want anyone reading my last...
I have to go now, sir.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.